Jeffrey Shantz. Given that Scientology keeps records of all your sessions, what happens if the PC is a pathological liar and is making up new material in each auditing session that doesn't match up with what they've said before? How would they move you forward if it all seemed to be random information? Okay, well, Jeff, thanks for this question. It's a really good one, actually. Nobody's ever asked me anything like this before. And the way there's a couple different ways this could be dealt with. It would depend on how important and how repeated the person's lies were and how obvious they were. You get a lot of latitude when you go into an auditing session and start talking about your past experiences, especially when you get into past lives. Now, if you can just it's carte blanche. You can say anything you want about what's happened to you in a past life, and really nobody's going to have a whole lot to say about it. In the book Science of Survival, which I was just quoting from in the last question, Hubbard actually talks about the therapeutic value of running imaginary incidents. So you could even end up running things that the auditor knows and the case supervisor knows, and you're told it's okay. Just let your imagination run wild. And that could be done in order to get a person who was, say, stuck, not being able to run a whole lot of anything. Or there might be other, this is just off my memory right now, there might be other reasons for imaginary incidents to be run. But you could do that, still get some kind of therapeutic value from it, Hubbard said, and nobody's the worse for wear, right? Everybody knows it's just imagination. That's pretty rare, though. It's expected that when you go into auditing, you're going to be telling the truth, especially about stuff that's happened to you this lifetime. You're not supposed to just be going in and making stuff up. But the way auditing works is that sometimes the e-meter is being used to guide the session and guide the answering. So if I ask you a question, or we're looking at running something, have you ever been run over by a bulldozer or something, right? And you're, yeah, sure. When I was 10, a bulldozer ran over my foot or whatever, and maybe that's real. And then you're going back and there's still not the expected floating needle. And so you're going earlier. Okay, well, was there an earlier time you were, run over by a bulldozer and the guy can't find one. Well, then the needle is used on the e-meter, right? It starts ticking, and the auditor is trained to look for a similar, or the same rather, pattern in the needle to how it responded when the question was first asked. If the needle fell 1 inch, then the auditor's looking for that 1 inch fall again. And he might start looking at that and going, oh, hey, wait a minute, there's that 1 inch fall again. What was that? What was that thought you just had? And the guy's like, I don't know. And he goes, okay, well, take a look at that again. And the guy starts thinking about stuff, and there, what's that, right? The needle's clicking, and the guy's like, oh, what's that? And, the guy at holding the cans, the person receiving the auditing, might be sitting over there going, I don't know, I got a picture of an apple. Okay. Well, something about this apple connected with a bulldozer, something with this apple. Like, what are you looking at with that, right? And you're trying to develop it like a Polaroid picture, right? You remember those? That's kind of how auditing is done often, is the meter is used to guide the person and find what it is that they're thinking about that's supposed to somehow be an answer to the question. And eventually it has to kind of make sense that the information that the pre-clear is giving is relevant to, is sequitur to the question being asked. But it might start out with something really out in left field, like an apple or something, and then you find out, that could develop into something like the guy was, 300 years ago was picking apples in an apple orchard. Or I don't know, 300 million years ago, he was picking apples in an apple orchard and a bulldozer came along and mowed him down, right? I mean, who knows, right? That's the kind of thing that could develop. Now, if you have a guy, though, who, so it's real hard to say, oh, you're lying, in a situation like that. And that kind of a one-off thing, that's the only time you might end up talking about that bulldozer running over you in that field 300 million years ago. So not going to be so obvious whether you're pathologically in just making stuff up when you're running stuff like that. So it's really going to be more obvious in your current life. And that's where you could actually, have some kind of evidentiary basis for an auditor and a case supervisor could, for seeing that the pre-clear is perhaps purposefully altering the truth about what's happened to them in the here and now. And if that kind of stuff starts coming up, where it's just contradictory, where they have earlier reports that said this and this, and the guy's saying, well, XYZ instead of ABC, and, it starts coming out that way, then a case supervisor could start putting processes together customized for that pre-clear, for the pathological lying pre-clear, to address the subject of lying and perhaps even get into finding evil purposes and evil intentions connected with distorting the truth or fabricating reality, or there's lots and lots of ways that you could word that. And case supervisors can put lists together of various ways of lying or different words connected with lying, and using the e-meter, start running down that list of words and use those to, if they respond on the meter, use those to start, say, security checking the person on times he had purposefully lied. Or reversely, maybe this guy, as a pathological liar, thinks lying is the ethical and moral thing to do. And so you start pulling from him times when telling the truth was was what he thought was the wrong thing to do. So you start pulling from him, these sort of reverse overts, if you will, these wrongdoings that he's committed, where he actually told the truth. Because if you look at the world through the lens of a pathological liar, telling the truth is the wrong thing to do. Lying is the ethical, moral thing to do for that individual in any given circumstance. That's why they lie, right? So, or at least that could be one reason if you were looking at it through a moral lens. There could be other reasons people are pathological liars, but that could be one reason that a case supervisor might assume. And he might enter it through that moral lens and use sec checking to address it, and then get to the evil purposes at the bottom of it all. So that might be another route where they are really trying to now deal with and tackle the lying as a thing that has to be dealt with. So either of those could come up. It would totally depend on the context and situation there. So there was a very thorough answer to your question. I hope it elucidates.